Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another live stream. And tomorrow, Chelsea look to make it 4 wins in a row when they take on Sean Dyche's relegation-threatened Everton at Stamford Bridge in the last game before the international break. So hopefully the Blues can sign off with a win, keep the good form going. And let's kind of wait and see what happens with that. N'Golo Kante set for a return. Graham Potter saying that there's a chance of him being involved in the squad, so we could see him potentially for the first time since August, which would be great to see. Kind of almost a forgotten man at Chelsea. We've obviously had the Champions League draw today as well, and once again for a third season in a row, Chelsea will take on Real Madrid with the first leg at the Bernabeu and the second leg at home at Stamford Bridge the following week. Returns to Stamford Bridge for Antonio Rudiger, who left last summer, and also Eden Hazard coming back again, although he's very unlikely to play considering he doesn't play any football at Real Madrid these days. But yeah, another Real Madrid again, and we've got the toughest side of the draw imaginable. But so much to get into. Dharmesh, thanks for coming as always, bro. I guess there's only one place to start, really. The Champions League draw. Not exactly how we would have wanted it to have gone. I mean, obviously, there's no easy draws when you start getting to this stage of Europe. But yeah, I mean, you get Real Madrid, you're thinking, all right, not ideal. Thinking maybe we'll get lucky and we'll get a better semi-final team if we were to get through. Nope. All the big teams, well, I say big teams, don't want to be disrespectful to the other teams, but all the heavyweights are in one side of the draw, and it means that one of Inter, AC Milan, Napoli, or Benfica will be in that final in Istanbul. But from a Chelsea perspective, mate, couldn't have gone much worse.
Yeah, we sat on launch the stream this morning, sort of reacting to the draw and stuff. And when it happened, I remember all of us were just fuming, man, just because of the way it sort of went for us. Yeah, it's like you said, it's not the fact that we sort of drew Real, it's who we have to face after if we do get through, which is obviously City or Bayern potentially. Which, but yeah, I'm just looking at that now on that side, man. Like all those are the three teams I not planned in my mind to sort of like play until the final at least. But it is what it is. I mean, you can't really do anything about it. The draw's the draw. The luck is the luck. That's it, man. And our luck for like drawing teams this season has been bad. We've drawn Manchester City like twice, haven't we? I think in the Carabao Cup, FA Cup as well. I say a favourable draw against Dortmund, but technically that was technicality, wasn't it? Because you don't really draw the round of 16. It's whoever you play, isn't it? I believe, right? Or is there a draw? There isn't a draw.
There's a draw for the round of 16. Yeah.
Oh, was there a draw for it?
Yeah, there is a draw for it. Yeah. Man.
Well, I think my mind's just completely blown from this season, man. Like, honestly, yeah. Because I always used to assume like first place, second of this group and this group, but I forgot it's not. It's not like
it's not. It is like winner. Like if you win a group, you'll face a runner up. But like it's
that's
not.
It's
not predetermined.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. But yeah, we've got a favourable tie relatively against Dortmund. We did well. Not saying we're out at the moment, but it's looking unlikely that we get past Madrid. But saying that we've got a really good record against Madrid, and us in Europe, I actually back us more than say if this was a league game. Like say if we got Manchester City now this early, I'd probably feel less confident. But I think the way Real Madrid set up, I think actually suits us in a way. Funny enough. And that record has shown that we've seen what we can do there last season, even without key players in the team, and not playing the perfect positions that we saw with Reece James last season. He wasn't even playing right wing back; he was playing right centre back in the second leg.
We had Loftus-Cheek.
And absolutely pocketed Vinicius Junior. And this time we got Fofana around, and I think him and Benzema are obviously the two threats that we're sort of looking at for both games and stuff. Obviously, their midfield's really good. The defense can be got at. I know. Obviously, they got Rudiger, Alaba's injured, got Nacho, yeah. But I think Real Madrid can definitely be got at. I thought even against Liverpool, I didn't think they were. I know they obviously won the game, but I didn't think they were at their best against Liverpool, if I'm being honest. And I think that's some encouragement that we can take from that in a way. So yeah, I'm glad the second leg's at the Bridge. Actually, I think that will suit us. But on the flip side, though, if we have those suspended players that.
Well, I was going to say we've got there's quite an extensive list that if they get booked, they're out for the second leg.
Yeah, I believe it's Kepa, Enzo, Mudryk, Gallagher.
There's quite a few. There's about 5 or I think the list is about 5 or 6 of them. I'll see if I can find it on Twitter or someone in the chat can have a look for it. But Yeah, I mean, I look at it and think, right, Real Madrid they've got European pedigree. That there's an affiliation with Real Madrid in the Champions League. But I actually look at Madrid. I look at us in the last 2 seasons we've played them. Obviously, when we won it, we beat them, and that was probably that was quite a poor Real Madrid side, but we still beat them. Last season we were dead unlucky, and I honestly think we would have gone through if basically I don't want to blame Mendy, but the mistakes in the first leg cost us big time. Like Madrid,
even the Marcos Alonso disallowed goal, that should have stood.
I mean,
well.
Madrid didn't necessarily play us off the park at Stamford Bridge. We gifted them, or definitely gifted them 1 goal. I can't remember if we gifted them 2, but like those mistakes that we made at Stamford Bridge probably cost us that tie. I'm not saying that Madrid aren't a dangerous outfit, because they absolutely are, but at the same time, they're not having a good season. They're well off the pace to a Barcelona side that got knocked out of the Europa League by United. And, they're not having the best of seasons. Yes, in the Champions League, they're always there or thereabouts, and they always seem to find something extra. But I'm not saying that we're going to beat them, but I don't think Real Madrid is as scary a proposition as a lot of people make it out to be. Yes, they've got the history in the competition. Yes, they've got fantastic players in Benzema, in Vinicius, in Luka Modric still doing things, Camavinga, Tchouameni. They got great players, but I think I agree with you. Defensively, you can definitely get at them, and I think we've got a half decent chance in this one,
especially Kante fit as well. Kante being ready and fit again, I think that'll make a big difference as well. Thiago Silva also coming back as well, just in time for when we play Real Madrid as well, which will also help with his experience there as well. Koulibaly's another one, by the way, with the yellow cards. I just remembered. If he gets yellow this one, he'll miss the second leg. But yeah, we should this is our biggest game of the season. We should just go all out for it. Like luckily, I guess the league we can sort of put to a side a little bit. I know obviously we want to finish strongly, but to sort of get into the Champions League next season, I think our best chance is still trying to win it, regardless of the sort of route that we have, with obviously facing Madrid twice and then either Bayern or Manchester City twice. So you never know, bro. Honestly, like you never know with Chelsea, man. Like we could get a decent result if we keep the score respectable at the Bernabeu. If we get a draw, even get a cheeky win, then that'll be perfect to take into sort of Stamford Bridge and minimize sort of the yellow card suspensions as well. Because realistically,
they reset. They reset after the first leg.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So if we could minimize some of them as well, that'll be great as well. Then we just have to. I think the key thing is get out of Madrid with either a draw or obviously a win's perfect, but just be in the tie somehow. That's it. Even if it's a 1-0, I'll take a 1-0. Even if, what do you call it? How Dortmund sort of beat us 1-0. I'll take that any day. Being
in the tie is absolutely crucial. We have to go back to the bridge in the tie. I honestly think if we're more than a goal down, like if it's more than a 1-goal deficit, I think we're banging trouble.
You said that last season. We almost did it last season, though.
We did almost do it last season, but I think realistically, I think if we've got more than a 1-goal deficit from the first leg, then it is going to be slightly problematic. But I mean, I think look, it's never ideal, but I think we've got the squad. We have got the squad to do it. And again, when we get to the tie, there'll be more time together. This group of players would have played more matches together. I think if we stick with the back three as well, it gives us a good chance. I wouldn't say like I'm overly confident, but I don't look at it and think, oh, we're 100% out, because I do think we've got the capabilities of beating them. And Graham Potter's actually, I know he's not had a lot of Champions League games, but he's got a very good record in the Champions League from the small amount of games that he's managed in the competition so far. So look, I think it's not ideal, but I think there's room for optimism. And I think we definitely got the capabilities to pull it off. And it's not as bad, like having sort of initially thought, oh, for fuck's sake, we've got Madrid. Yeah. Like when you've had a few hours to sort of sit on it and think about it, it's not actually, I don't think it's not a complete disaster.
I think they'll suit the way that we play, I think out of all the teams there, I think Real Madrid actually suit us in a way, in terms of wanting to beat them. I think Madrid would hate playing against us because previous record and previous history sort of shows when we played them, they've been uncomfortable against us. And that's with a similar group of players as well. This is the third season in a bounce we'll be playing them. So I'm sure I think they'll just feel just as nervous and wary of us. But what they like to say as well is like on the flip side, if you look at it, if we do get past Madrid and then say either City or Bayern, on paper, I guess it's an easier final for us. Because we could, like, obviously, looking at the side of the draw, you've got Napoli.
I think that's also a fair point. But I mean, yeah, it's not ideal.
It won't be easy, obviously, but
on
paper, psychologically, like if we get through Madrid and City and Bayern.
Last time we won it, we beat Madrid and we beat Man City to win the trophy. So
exactly.
I mean, there's no guarantees that City beat Bayern either. By the way, like I'm not like I mean I'm obviously be more scared to face Manchester City if we got through than I would be to face Bayern Munich. But there's no guarantees that City get through either.
Yeah, I said on Launch's stream, out of those two teams, I think Bayern will probably go through against it. Yeah, I've just got the feeling with sort of Man City pursuing the league as well as the FA Cup as well. I think it'll just be a bit too much for them, but you never know, to be honest.
No, you never know. Let's get to a few. Madrid are not that scary as Napoli. I mean, to be honest, I would probably rather have Madrid than Napoli. I guess I know that sounds a bit odd, but Napoli are a serious outfit this season. They really are. But they've got that experience though.
Yeah, it's just frustrating as well. Like the other side of the draw, like look how weak that other side of the draw is. Like, imagine if that was us, man. I think all of us would be booking tickets to Istanbul, just like Jurgen Klopp said, man.
Mate, honestly, if it was like Chelsea, Milan, and then it was Benfica, Inter, we'd make. I mean, you can't say for definite, but we'd have a huge chance of making the final.
Well, as Jurgen Klopp said, if that happened, man, book the tickets to Istanbul, man.
I mean, we have good record against Madrid. Nothing to worry about. We have same chance. I think as much as we're kind of like it's not ideal that we've got Madrid. I think Madrid probably looking at getting Chelsea and think that's probably not particularly what they wanted either. So you have to look at it from both perspectives. I hope we have Kante and Enzo midfield and Champions League. Yeah, look, I think we need to rein it in a little bit on Kante. He's not played since August. Maybe he'll get some minutes against Everton. And then we've got 2 weeks off at the international break, another chance to get some more training in at Cobham, etc., etc. But yeah, let's wait and see on that one. First leg is crucial. Cannot lose two. I agree on that one. We have the squad to win, and history also backs us now. Yeah, there's always going to be a little bit of luck involved as well, to an extent. But let's kind of wait and see what happens. But I mean, moving away from the Champions League draw, mate, I just want to throw it slightly forward to next month. I know we've still got one more game left in March, but April is looking packed. I know this is wrong. Brighton's not away; it's at home. But we play Villa on Saturday, April 1st. We then play Liverpool the following midweek on the 4th. Then we go to Wolves on the 8th. Then we've got that first leg at Madrid on either the Tuesday or the Wednesday after Wolves on the Saturday. Then we play Brighton at home. Then the second leg of Madrid. Then United away. Then Brentford home. Then Arsenal away. That is a packed month. I mean, admittedly, the Man United game could be rescheduled because if they beat Fulham in the FA Cup, then I think that game's going to get moved. But I mean, Dodge, look at that. You look at that there. I mean, there's some tough fixtures there. It's a heavy schedule. I would always be at the point where maybe not ahead of the first leg, but certainly if we're well in the tie, I'll be looking at that Brighton home game. As important as it is in the Premier League, maybe we need to start prioritising the Champions League, depending on what situation we're in come that first leg.
Yeah, just look at that, man. Oh, yeah.
It's tough. That's a tough run.
Look at that. I think my mind's just like, my mind's gone just look at that. But that's the reason why we've got a big squad. I know a lot of people, whatever you think of the players and what the players that we got, I mean, like, we're going to have to utilise the squad. And there's going to be players that say we don't want to stay, want to play, to be honest. They're going to have to, I'll give examples of the general consensus in the fan base is like, I know a lot of people don't want to see Mason Mount play, but I can see him starting a couple of games. I can see players like Hakim Ziyech start a couple of games. I can see Christian Pulisic as well starting a couple of games and getting some minutes in there, just because we can't keep that same 11 for all those games. I know obviously we want to play our best 11, but we have to think about the players and of the players around
Well,
us,
we're
and
literally
also
playing.
minimize injury. So
We're literally playing every 3 days in April, pretty much.
and also I think I believe the Madrid game away is on the 12th of April. I think that's a Wednesday.
Yeah,
And
that'll
then I
be
think we play
Wednesday.
them on the Tuesday after, so
Yeah.
the 18th. Yeah. Then before that, we've got Wolverhampton Wanderers before that away, before we go away to Madrid. So we've got 2 away games. Then obviously we got Brighton at home over the weekend. Then we've got Madrid away, and then Madrid at home, and then we've got Manchester United away, and then we've got Brentford next week.
Although I think that United game, I hope, to be fair, maybe ideally United go through in the FA Cup, and that game gets rescheduled. That would be more helpful.
That will help us a lot, but yeah, man, that's the reason why we got a 33-man squad. It's time to utilize it, Potter. Like, time to utilize the squad.
Yeah,
so,
I agree, mate.
With it, and yeah, we've got a big squad for a reason. And if we want to compete on, say, 4 competitions next season, as we probably three or four competitions, then we're gonna need these quality, this depth of quality inside the squad.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the squad's going to be massively trimmed down. We're not going to be working with a 33-man squad. It will be 25, probably, maybe 26.
Also, I think it low key helps as well that, say, players that are not registered in the Champions League. I think it helps a little bit, if you get what I'm saying. Like,
well, yeah, because those guys will start the games in the league.
Badiashile, Madueke as well. I know he's not playing at the moment, but maybe Aubameyang comes back into the mix as well for a couple of games as well. I'm trying to think of players that can't really play.
We've certainly got options there to utilize it in rotation, but it's going to be interesting to see how Graham Potter manages it, how we come through this run of games after the international break, because it's a packed schedule. It's a lot of games, and there's literally no easy games in that run. You probably say the easiest game out of the lot of those is Villa at home, the first one.
Oh yeah, Villa. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
And even that's not a given. But you look at those list of fixtures, and you probably say the Villa one is the easiest one. But mate, those are some tough games in there. We've beaten Zidane's triple UCL winning Madrid team to win the trophy. We're just worried because Madrid thrashed it. I think we've definitely got a good chance for sure. Pez Lord, big up, bro. Enzo needs to be protected due to him being on a yellow, I think. Mudrik's also on a yellow as well. But yeah, look, Enzo's going to have to play, and we're just going to have to trust these guys to be disciplined and to be careful, because we cannot be picking up stupid yellow cards either. None of this dissent stuff or anything like that. If we want to win a trophy, we need to beat big teams now or after. So let's go. Yeah. We can do it. Second leg is at our home. Yeah, it's definitely an advantage having a second leg at home. And you are right. As much as you would have liked an easier draw, and I would have liked an easier draw for sure. If you want to win the trophy, we're going to have to beat some of the big dogs along the way anyway. So
yeah,
you may as well do it now, I suppose, if we can. Yeah, this would certainly be nice if we can go Emirates April 29th and put Arsenal out. See if we can do anything there. Even the players that don't want to be here, they have showcased their performances in games to get new contracts. Yeah, again, it could be a shop window opportunity for some of those fringe players as well if we use them in the squad rotation, which I think inevitably
transfer money as well, value as well. If you want to
sell for sure. Well. Yeah, because otherwise we're just sitting on dead assets basically, which you do not want. This is when having a bloated squad may be a good. Yeah, I mean, there's not many advantages to it, and it's going to be trimmed down quite severely in the summer. But right now, for this 9 games coming in April, playing every 3 days, this is probably the only time that it's a plus. The only time that it's a plus.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Real Madrid. It's a busy April, but before we get to that, and before we move on to Everton, mate, just a little bit of transfer news. An article in the Athletic. Simon Johnson discussing Chelsea's possibilities of signing João Felix on a permanent, with the article stating that the indications are that £80 million would be a figure Atletico are prepared to accept for Felix. Chelsea's owners are willing to continue to spend in the market. Obviously, we know that. We don't want to spend a lot of money on Felix. We do need to strengthen in other areas, i.e. midfield, maybe a goalkeeper, maybe defenders. And a centre forward. 80 million on Felix would take a large chunk of that budget, even if we are going to sell players. But this is a figure that I personally would be happy with Anything more than that, I think, is well over the odds and not worth it. But 80 million, I think, is probably fair crack. I mean, would you agree on that? Do you think 80 million for João Felix would be fair? I think, as I said, I think much higher is a no-go for me.
Yeah, I think sort of given the figures that were given before about Felix costing maybe like 100 or more than 100 million, I think was like outright ridiculous back then. But I think getting him for £8 million, I think that'll be. I think that's probably the right price for him, to be honest. And I know obviously he's literally married to the post of the crossbar, but like you've seen the difference in quality of attack that we have with João Felix in the team. He just adds so much quality to the team, and even rival fans wish they had him, to be honest, like Arsenal, United fans as well. So it's really promising to see as well with the sort of link-up play he has with like players around him, the attackers, the midfielders, and even the wing-backs as well. And he loves being at Chelsea as well, loves London. So yeah, I'm all for him staying, but I think anything above £85 million, I think I'd politely decline, to be honest, on that.
Yeah, no,
purely because, like you said, invest in other areas of the team.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I do think at that price it's fair. I mean, Atletico Madrid are taking that represents like a sort of a 20-30 million pound depreciation on what they paid, and at 23 years of age, he's still so young. He fits the mold, the age group that Chelsea kind of looking to recruit within. There's obviously a high ceiling there. There's a lot of years to develop and improve as a footballer. But again, I don't want us to sign Felix permanently if it means that 80 million coming out of the budget means we have to kind of go for a cheaper alternative elsewhere in a more important position. We have got Nkunku coming. Kai Havertz is probably going to end up staying. Again, £80 million would be a figure they're prepared to accept. There's no reason why we maybe couldn't negotiate that down a little bit. We've got a bloated squad. We might have players that would interest them. I know the swap deal in football never seems to work, but maybe it can on this one occasion.
Yeah.
But yeah, look at Felix, and you can clear, despite the fact he's only got one goal, you can see that with his ability and his quality that he has raised the level of the attack at Chelsea. He's an intelligent footballer. He's great between the lines, vision. He's got a great pass. So yeah, look, this is one that I would be happy with, but it's certainly not top of the priorities. There's definitely more important things that need addressing than getting João Felix on a permanent deal. I mean, would you do this, Dharmesh? Would you think a loan again with an obligation in 2024 to buy?
If that option came, I wouldn't mind that, to be honest. That sort of option. Yeah, but when does this actual contract with Atleti end? Is it 2024?
No, mate, it ends in like 26, I think, or 27. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I guess I wouldn't mind taking on a loan again, to be honest, because it depends how much it costs a loan as well for a season.
But it'd be cheaper than spending 80 mil, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So yeah, to answer that comment, yeah, but I probably would take that sort of option, to be honest, if that came about.
And what have you
Lukaku in there as well?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, quite possibly. Felix, 60 million player max, lacks defensive work. I mean, I don't think Felix is not in the team to defend. Yeah, you will have to contribute, but I think he's definitely worth more than 60 million. A 23-year-old Portuguese international, he is worth more than 60 million. But yeah, 80 is the absolute limit. I'd be more happy with a 70 or a 75, to be honest. But let's see what we could do, but it depends what the situation is in the summer. He might be terrible for the rest of the season. I mean, hopefully he's not, but that could happen. Yeah, I did see that. Strikers and defensive midfield player, that is for sure. I mean, that would be great, but that's never going to happen. I don't think. I mean, just briefly on Felix, should we move on? What have you made of him so far since he's been here? There was a lot of like hype around his arrival. Obviously, got the red card at his debut at Fulham. We had to wait a month again to see him. Just the one goal against West Ham so far, but I mean, he has been good. I mean, my one criticism of him would be that he seems to fade the longer the game goes on. He becomes less influential, and that would probably be the one thing that he does need to improve on, along with his finishing a bit. Is be more influential for longer in the games. But other than that, I've been pretty impressed with him.
Yeah, he's been a breath of fresh air in our sort of attack. He adds that sort of creativity that we've been lacking for ages. And I know obviously he's only got the one goal, stupidly got that red card as well. But I think one of the main reasons why he gasses out so quickly is I think adjusting to the league as well. Because a lot of people underestimate how sort of hard it is to adapt from going from a slow pace league to a quick pace league like the Premier League, which is probably why he gasses out. And I think by the end of the season, his body might adapt a bit more. He looks very, very like skinny and like less sort of toned in a way. And if he sort of builds that muscle up, I think, and builds that sort of endurance, I think he can adapt to the Premier League and adapt to the physicality of the league as well. So I think that's probably the reason why he's struggling. But I'm happy with Felix, to be fair. I know obviously it'd be very different conversations with people if those crossbar / post hits were goals, because I think he's hit the bar and post like maybe five times.
He did it twice against Dortmund, once against Leicester. I think he hit the post at home against Leeds as well. That's 4 that I can remember just off the top of my head there. I mean, there might be 1 or 2 more. So even if a couple of those go in, it's a big difference.
It's a big difference. That's why people are a bit hesitant on Felix. I think purely just because of the sort of stats as well. How many assists has he got, by the way?
I don't actually know, mate. Sure. I'm not sure. Maybe 1 or 2, or it might not be any. I've got to be honest, mate. I actually don't know.
But it's like it's one of those players where you watch and then he won't get you a lot of goals and assists, but you can see the way he just influences the attack and allows others to flourish. Like we've seen recently with Kai Havertz of how.
I wonder if Havertz is doing better because Felix is playing. I wonder if that's got anything to do with it.
It might do, because Felix is obviously maybe attracting a lot of defenders with his sort of dribbles, his movement and stuff, his creative play, which is probably freeing up space for the likes of like Sterling and Havertz or whoever's playing on the right hand side. So that could be a factor as well. And he's probably had to sacrifice some of that actual goal threat to accommodate for others. And then we've seen how good like Ben Chilwell's been on the left wing back as well, bombing up and down, getting sort of attacking returns as well. That might have also played a factor as well. But it's not going to be the case where every sort of attacker that we have in the team is going to be scoring or assisting. There has to be one that sort of accommodates, and João Felix could is that player at the moment. And when you watch him, bro, he's just so good, man. He's so good to watch.
Oh, he's great. He's great to watch.
You've obviously seen him live, man. I can imagine it must be so good to watch him live. Like the flicks and tricks that he does, the quickness, the sharpness of him as well, and the intelligence as a young footballer. He's 24, isn't he? 23, 24.
I think he's 23. I think he's 23. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd 100% keep, man. Like, and I think if we got rid of him, I think it'd be a mistake, man. I know, obviously, we've got Kuku coming in, but we realistically haven't seen what he's like in the league, and also with his injuries as well, how he's going to react to the injuries that he's had this season as well. It's a big risk, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah, I mean, let's wait and see what happens on this one. But yeah, it's certainly one to keep an eye on. I think Chelsea would like to keep him. I think Felix would like to stay. Let's see what can be done on the price. I mean, as Ashraf said in the chat earlier, if we could maybe get a loan with an obligation to buy at the end of next season, that might be the best solution. But as Peslov, I mean, as Peslov has said here, 80 million over if it's a 5-year contract, because we obviously can't offer more than 5 years come the summer because UEFA have closed that. It'd be roughly £16 million a year. And again, the £80 million wouldn't all be paid in one go. So maybe it is possible. Maybe it is possible. Do you want to find and sign another Nkunku kind of player for 50, 60 or spend 80 on Felix? Well, it depends who the other 50, 60...
Spend 80 on Felix, man. Like, we don't know what kind of player that would be, to be honest. Unless you can give us a name, then...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what sort of... Yeah, I mean, don't know what sort of player that would be. Let's just quickly, before we move more on to Everton, let me just quickly bring something else up. The multi-club model might be starting to get a little bit closer, with a report from The Guardian today suggesting that Chelsea have stepped up interest in buying a stake in Strasbourg, the Ligue 1 club, after UEFA's president Alexander Seferin opened the door to relaxing restrictions on clubs with the same owner playing in the same European competitions. I mean, I don't think Strasbourg ever fucking qualified for Europe, but I'm not really sure. But, I mean, look, we've been looking for a while now. We've been looking in Portugal, looking in South America, looking in France. I mean, I suppose this would be a good thing, Dharmesh. I mean, much like the kind of the relationship we had with Vitesse all those years back. I guess buying a big stake in Strasbourg, the French league, for whatever people say, that is improving a lot, and it produces a lot of good players, and it is a decent standard of football. I guess, I mean, I'm not asking for sort of any great insight in this. I don't really know too much about it myself, but I suppose it's a positive step in the right direction to getting this multi-club model set up or getting the ball rolling on it. Yeah.
Yeah, we should definitely do it because even Manchester City have that sort of thing, don't they? With
the City group? They've got an Australian. They've got a few. They've got New York City, in the MLS. They've got Melbourne in the A League in Australia.
Oh, they've got Melbourne. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they've got Palermo as well in Serie B. They've got the City group's got quite a few.
Yeah, and I think we should definitely follow that model. The French league's probably the best to start off with, just because the quality of players that come out of the French league, like we've seen so many good players.
A lot of good players coming from the French league, even Badia Schill. There's loads.
That famous Monaco team as well that reached the semis as well. You got all of them. You got tons of players that come from Ligue 1. So
a lot of talent.
But it'd be good to sort of build this model up, and I think it'll build us up as a club as well. Sort of turn us from a massive club to even a bigger club in a way as well. It will definitely increase the capacity of our club size as well, for sure.
And it will help us
as well. We'll show that we're serious. It'll show that we want to bring players through and through, and we don't want to be spending like every sort of summer, or at least like £400 million, where we could sort of have these players from Strasbourg, for example, bring them into the first team at Chelsea, for example, or maybe loan out some players or sell some players to Strasbourg as well. So and develop sort of the youth there. So I think that could really work for us, to be honest.
Yeah, I do as well, man. And kind of the sooner we can get the ball rolling on this, then the better. No, we didn't get Mount from Vitesse. Mount went on loan to Vitesse, like a lot of Chelsea players did. But I think, I mean, it wasn't really a multi-club model. We just had a feeder club, had a relationship with Vitesse where we'd send our young players on loan to them, and we'd sign some of their better players, although they didn't really work out. I think the only one I remember was Marco van Ginkel, the midfielder from a while back. But yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction. The French league's definitely worth investing in. Let's kind of wait and see what happens on that one. But mate, let's get into it then. Everton, obviously on tomorrow, 5:30 kickoff, last game before the international break. For a change, we're actually coming into this game in good form. 3 wins on the spin now, back-to-back wins in the Premier League. Dharmesh, how are you feeling about this one? For me personally, mate, I'm heading into a Chelsea game for the first time in the longest time I can remember, actually feeling confident that we're going to win a game.
Yeah, on paper, Everton should be a walk in the park, but I actually think it'll be a bit more difficult than people think. They're obviously on a high. They beat Brentford, I think, last week. I think they won 1-0, and they're obviously fighting for their lives, Everton, at the moment. So it's a big game for them as well, just before the international break as well. And they play Sean Dyche ball as well, so it's going to be even difficult to break them down. And they'll definitely take the form from last week into this game and try and sort of piss us off, basically, as fans as well as the players as well. It'll be difficult to break them down as well. So I think players like Enzo Fernandez and Felix and that Mudryk will be absolutely vital to this game in terms of showing their own sort of passing quality, dribbling quality as well, to sort of break that sort of 2 banks of 4 in a way. So it's a really, really important game for us tomorrow as well. Try and build some momentum going into national break. But I think the international breaks come at the wrong time for us in a way.
I would agree.
But then if you look on the flip side with other teams as well, like, for example, Manchester United, for example, and Liverpool, they're probably begging for the international break right now. So, yeah, it works out differently for teams as well. But tomorrow should be a routine win for us. It should be easy, but I'm not expecting it to be easy because they're going to set up 2 banks of 4, like I said, make it very difficult for us to break down, be really physical, try and waste time as well, try and annoy Kai Havertz like he always gets annoyed against Everton. So... Yeah,
I mean, this will be a tricky game in terms of not because Everton are a good side, but because when you get to sort of this point of the season, not too many games left, this game is not like these sort of games are where the big teams are not going to be the games that keep you up. From an Everton perspective, it's going to be like the games, the home games, and the games against the teams in and around you. Anything you can get on a big away game is obviously going to be a bonus. But as you said, mate, the onus is going to be on us to come out and try and break Everton down, and we're going to have to hope that we can get an early goal because you get an early goal against a team that's come to sit deep, part of the bus for as long as possible to try and nick a goal from a set piece or on the counter. The longer that goes on, the more likely that could be, and the less likely you feel it is we might score. You get an early goal, that game plan of sitting deep for the whole game is completely out the window, and it becomes a completely different game. So I think it is really important tomorrow that we do go out, we start positively, which in fairness, we have been doing recently in the last few games. We have been starting pretty positively. An early goal would definitely change how this game is going to go. But I mean, I feel confident about it, but I'm equally aware that it could be quite frustrating tomorrow if we can't get an early breakthrough. I can sense it being frustrating. And yes, we got 3 goals last time out at Leicester, and we are creating more chances, and we do seem to have discovered a bit more of a goal scoring touch, but there's still no guarantees, and it is going to be difficult. I mean, we've seen in the past, in previous seasons, we've really struggled to break teams down. Do you think we've got it in us, Dharmesh, now with a slightly different attack, a bit more creativity from Enzo Fernandez in midfield, that we may not struggle as much as we have done in the past to break teams down that come to Stamford Bridge and just put 10 men behind the ball?
Yeah, definitely having Enzo in the team makes a difference. His passing range has been ridiculous since he's come to Chelsea, and even at the World Cup as well, we've seen the quality he possesses with that. So yeah, I definitely feel like having Enzo Fernandez on board and having him sort of fit and ready for these kinds of games, I think that's the main reason why we sort of brought him in for these games specifically, to sort of find that instinct for killer pass, to sort of set up the attackers as well, and hopefully they can finish as well. That's the big thing as well, because I think we'll create a few chances, but I think if we bury a few early, then we could really go on and beat Everton 5 or 6, to be honest. But I highly doubt that happened. But yeah, Enzo, man, just so good, man. Just can't praise this guy highly enough. And yeah, definitely is the right recruitment next to him in the summer, I think, to sort of help him get the best out of himself as well.
Yeah, whether it's Rice or Lavia or someone like that, whoever it ends up being. That'll be a big plus. But yeah, I mean, let's see what happens on this one. But let's get into the team then, guys. Remember to keep smashing the likes on the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Trying to get to 3,000 subscribers as quickly as possible. So please do hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. And remember, you can also donate via the super chat function as well. So any donation would be greatly appreciated, no matter how big or small. So please do donate via that function tonight if you can, guys. Let's get into the lineup. I mean, Dharmesh, no brainer. Last 3 games have been a back 3. Seems silly to. I mean, for me, there's absolutely no chance we swap. I mean, I presume you're in agreement.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, keep the back 3 is working at the moment. Yeah.
I mean, Potter today on the back in a press conference was asked about switching to the back 3, and he said we've had a few injuries which could change the dynamic of the side. We looked at the performance of the team, and the back 3 we felt was the better way to go. I don't know whether. Yeah, I mean, I think it is. I think it's what this group of players are more comfortable with. We look more balanced. So yeah, let's stick with it for now. Kepa in goal. Obviously, Mendy was back in training this week. Maybe he'll be on the bench. I don't really know. But obviously, Kepa is not going to. I can't see Kepa being displaced for the rest of the season unless he gets injured or makes some absolute howlers for a continued run of games. Dharmesh, Kepa for you, obviously. He's had a really impressive season, hasn't he? And those dark times on the Lampard for him, they seem like a distant memory. I honestly think he's been superb. Bar from the Lampard seasons, or season and a bit, he's actually been fantastic for Chelsea.
Yeah, I can't argue with this season, bro. I think he's been really good. After Thiago Silva, probably our player of the season this year.
I think he's got a real big shout for it.
Yeah, saved us a lot of games this season as well. Sort of the start of like Graham Potter's reign. Obviously got sort of favoured back into the team for his sort of ball playing ability compared to Mendy's. He's risen quite well, to be fair. Yeah, I think I sort of disagree with what you said about sort of how he was apart from the Lampard season. I just think he was so bad that season that I remember at the time I was just like, oh, just get rid of this guy. I think we all were, but fair play to him. He's turned it around, fair play to him. He's put his head down, stayed motivated, hasn't complained at all. And yeah, he's rightfully earned his spot back for the number 1. And yeah, I'm more than happy for him to go as the number 1 next season if he continues his form. But I definitely want to see some more competition with Kepa if we do sign a goalkeeper. But that's just my personal opinion, my personal preference. That I think Kepa's good, but I think we can get better than Kepa. But that's I think that's nothing on what Kepa's done this season.
Yeah, I mean, it is tough in the goalkeeping position because if you're looking for an out-and-out number one, I mean, you're not going to get an Alisson or an Edison.
Yeah,
you're then looking at Ter Stegens or Oblaks or maybe Mike Maignan at AC Milan potentially. Like there's not a lot of goalkeepers out there that are going to be a significant upgrade on Kepa that we would perhaps be looking for if we were to strengthen that number one position. But for now, Kepa's number one. He's been fantastic.
Yeah.
Moving into the back three.
Yeah, sorry. I think it all depends as well. Like if we do bring in, say, I know this names we mentioned so many times, but like a David Raya, for example, like I don't think David Raya is any better than Kepa, to be honest.
He's not.
Probably want to Kepa to stay. So,
and even if he was, even if people think he is better or the club deem him better, that's not a significant upgrade at all.
Yeah, it has to be. I think the upgrade has to be like from there to like.
It has to be an obvious improvement in quality. And people like David Raya, no disrespect, like that's not a step up in class for Chelsea. That's just signing someone of the same ability, maybe a little bit less. I mean, I've not watched a lot of Raya, but I'd have to question him if he wants to leave Brentford, where he's playing every week in a good side. They're doing really well. Why would you go to Chelsea and be a number two unless he's? I mean, it'll be a free transfer, I think. Which I get it from a financial perspective, but would you want to swap being number two? Would you want to swap playing every week for Brentford to sit on the bench at Chelsea most weeks?
I'm a Chelsea fan, bro.
Oh yeah, but I mean, do you know what I mean? From his,
I get what you mean.
I don't know if I'd want to do that, but yeah. Right hand side of the three, mate. Wesley Fofana getting his first call up to the French national team. Congratulations to him. Thoroughly deserved. He's been superb since coming back from injury. Mate, he's really growing into this role at Chelsea now. Real fan favourite. Looks like he absolutely loves it here. And his performances have been superb, haven't they? Since he came back from injury in the second half of that game against Southampton, he's been fantastic for us. And, you know, you can see why we spent the money on him and you can see what a top player he's going to be.
Yeah, completely faultless. Like I can't remember any sort of mistakes that he's made since coming back. And yeah, he's hasn't lost his pace, which I'm quite surprised about. Like he's still quite quick, even though he had that injury. And I keep going back to say the Madrid game, but I think he'll be really crucial on that side against like Vinicius Jr. especially. And then even for this weekend, I think the physicality of Everton's attackers, the midfielders as well, I think he'll be really key as well. And just hope he can sort of stay fit in a way as well. I know obviously he's played most of the games, but there's always a risk with injury with any Chelsea player, man. But yeah, really impressed with Fofana, man.
Yeah, no, I am as well, mate. Long may it continue. And again, another player who's been mightily impressive in recent weeks and has really stepped into that kind of senior role in the middle of the back three, having had a difficult start to his Chelsea career, is Koulibaly. We obviously know that he can play in a four. He can play in a four, but in a three, mate, he looks so much more comfortable. And he's been great these last few games on. He's looking like the player that we signed, looking like the player that we know he can be, and we know he has been throughout his whole career. I'm really delighted for him because, again, he was struggling quite a lot. Rightfully was dropped from the side, left out for a few weeks because he wasn't playing well enough. He's back in now through Silva's injury, and he's taken that chance with both hands, and he's been great as well. I am really pleased for him. And the best compliment I can give kind of the back line and the defenders is that we're not missing Thiago Silva at the moment.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, yeah.
Which we would have been last season or earlier in the season when the guys weren't playing well. We're actually not missing Silva now because everyone's stepped up.
Yeah, I think it's helped Koulibaly like psychologically as well. He's probably thinking, "Oh, okay, I'm the most senior person in this defense. I need to step up." Whereas I think when Thiago Silva's sort of there, I don't think he feels that sort of pressure to sort of step up. So I think it's been a massive psychological boost for him in a way. Like, funny enough, like it probably sounds weird with Thiago Silva being injured, but it's actually helped Koulibaly a lot, sort of take that responsibility in the back line. And I think, yeah, he's been impressive. He's dealt with Haller really well, especially in the Champions League. He's dealt with, what's his name? Daka. I know he scored a good goal, but he dealt with Daka quite well. The step overs were good as well for Chilwell's assist as well.
Mate, it was a decent assist from Koulibaly.
A lot of people don't credit that assist, man.
No, it was good, mate. It was good.
You've seen loads of centre backs just slip over the ball there, but yeah, he kept his composure, man. But yeah, more to come from Koulibaly, man. let's see how he does against the physical side with Everton coming up obviously tomorrow, and I think he'll be key to us keeping a clean sheet tomorrow if we do.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. I mean, this is where it gets a little bit more difficult. I mean, maybe not, but I mean, it's a bit harsh on Badiashile. I know he came on for a little bit towards the end of the Leicester game, and he's kind of just been unfortunate in the fact that because he's not registered in the Champions League, he didn't play. Cucurella came in, put in a man of the match performance. You couldn't really drop him after that, and then he was pretty good against Leicester as well. As harsh as it on Badiashile, he's not done anything wrong. I don't see, for me personally, how you can drop Cucurella after the last two games and what he's done. So for me, as much as I want to play Badiashile, the reality of the situation is, like, I think Cucurella has to play this game.
Yeah, I get the points you're making, but I'd have to disagree with that. I think I probably would play Badiashile for tomorrow. Just purely looking at the opposition that we've got. Everton have got Onana, they've got is it Decore, and I think they've got Idrissa Gueye as well. They've got Tarkowski. They've got very, very big centre backs and big midfielders, and I think especially set pieces, as Ashraf mentioned in the comments just now, like he'll be key Badiashile for us. I think so. I think purely based for tomorrow, there's nothing on Cucurella. I think it's obviously his height's at a disadvantage in this, but I'll purely just play Badiashile for tomorrow just for that physical presence in that game, and then. Say if it's 0-0 and it's like the 50th, 60th minute, then we can take either centre back off and try and risk it all with it. But I personally would go with Badiashile. But if Cucurella did start, I'd be a bit hesitant on like set pieces and corners just because of his height. But there's no doubt the quality that Cucurella's possessed in the last two games has been really good. So yeah, that's just my personal preference, to be honest.
Yeah, mate. We'll put either or. But for me, I personally probably would go Cucurella just because I think he's been playing so well the last few games. A massive boost. Reece James back again. We said that quite a few.
By the way.
Yeah, he's fit. Yeah. So James will go straight back in. I mean, it'll be nice. It'll be nice to see him in that wing back position. I mean, there's not really too much to say on him. It's an absolute no-brainer.
I think the key thing will be as well how Gareth Southgate manages him as well for England.
Yeah, with no Trent in the squad either. I think he's probably going to. He's probably going
in the team or no?
Yeah, he must be. I mean, to be honest, I can't even remember. But you would expect that Reece is probably going to play a reasonable amount of minutes for England.
They've got Italy and Ukraine, I believe, haven't they, in the qualifiers?
Yeah, they've got Italy away and Ukraine at Wembley.
Yeah, so Reece James could feature in both games as well, which I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. I'm not sure. Just hope he doesn't pick up an injury in those sort of games.
Yeah, that's always the worry. There is always the worry.
So I think a lot is riding on, Gareth Southgate, to be honest, with Reece James over the next couple of weeks. See how he comes back for Villa at home, I think it is. First game back. So
Villa at home, first game back. James on that right-hand side, Ben Chilwell to continue on the left. I think it's as simple as that. He's been absolutely superb in the last three games. He was fantastic at Leicester, great goal. And mate, it feels like a bit of a throwback, but to have James and Chilwell, hopefully playing tomorrow, mate, it's been a while since we've had that. We haven't had that very often at all over the last season or so. That's going to be a big plus. How impressive have you been with Chilwell? Because obviously he's had a couple of long-term injuries, but he now seems to be back to his best again. And it's a massive plus for the team, and it's great to see.
Yeah, when he came back from his first injury, I remember how awful he was when he came back. I don't know if he felt the same, but he was really bad, especially that sort of first game against Everton. I know, funny enough, I got Everton this weekend, but the sort of reverse fixture in the first game, I know he won the penalty, but I remember how bad he was. And then since from that injury up until we got injured, I thought he was really poor. Like, I wasn't seeing any sort of hope. But this injury that's happened, the World Cup sort of happening, him not being a part of it, I think it's sort of motivated him a little bit more. And like, this is where we've almost got like our sort of Chilwell back from pre-injury. He's literally at that form right now. And I keep going on about this, but you're probably sick of me hearing this. Like, but I think his set piece delivery and his crossings improved so much. I don't know if you feel the same.
Massively,
but like, mate. I know it was good before, but it's improved even more now. I don't know if he's been practicing that in training or during the World Cup, just like set piece deliveries, corners, free kicks, shooting as well. It's been on the money every single time he delivers one in. So yeah, long may it continue. I think we'll definitely need some of his sort of set piece ability and threat when it comes to taking free kicks and corners for tomorrow.
I know. I agree, mate. I'm moving into the midfield then. We know Enzo's going to play. he's been superb. Just everything he's done since he's come in, he's been fantastic. He's not really he hasn't had a bad game. He was maybe slightly at fault for the Oliver Skip goal at Spurs with a poor clearance. But other than that, he's been pretty faultless for Chelsea. You can see the quality he's got, the way that he controls the midfield. His eye for a pass is fantastic. I haven't had anyone since Cesc Fabregas that can pick a pass like that in the midfield. He slots in there. Not really too much more to add on Enzo. But Dharmesh, for you, would you continue with Kovacic alongside him? Kova obviously been captaining the side recently. Got a goal at the last weekend against Leicester. Great finish. And he's actually improved a little bit over the last few games. It's been a difficult season for Kova, but he's come back into some decent form in the last week or so. Would you stick with him, or would you maybe look at as a carrier, or even, I don't know, maybe a Ruben? I don't think so, Ruben. But I mean, would you look at maybe as a carrier instead of Kova, or do you think we just stick with the same team?
I'd stick with the same team, to be honest. I think either if we did play Cucurella, I probably want Zakaria to play. But if we go with Badiashile, I think I wouldn't mind Kovacic playing. He's also the captain right now as well, so I don't think he'll be dropped as well from the team. But yeah, he's performed really well past couple of weeks and stuff. I don't think he's had a great season at all, but fair play to him. Past couple of games, he's done well. And his contract situation as well. Who knows if he's going to be here next season as well? If he is, then he's definitely part of our plans for the future as well. So we have to sort of build that midfield around him as well. But yeah, I'd definitely go Kovacic. I think some of his dribbles will be key as well into sort of the areas where Everton are sort of keeping their two banks of four. I think that'll be really key. Some of his dribbling, trying to get through that low block, because low blocks are not just about passing, it's about the dribbles as well. And I think Kovacic can do that whilst Enzo is sitting at points as well. And I think they complement each other well. Even though we lost control of the midfield a couple of times against Leicester, I thought overall they did a good job. But yeah, Kova for me starts tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Assad, big up, bro. I think tomorrow's the day we finally give someone a long overdue beating, going for a 4-0 win. And also, fair, we've got 1 against Leeds, 2 against Dortmund, 3 against Leicester. Maybe it's going to be 4 wins and 4 goals. Who knows? But we are due to sort of give a team quite a big beating. Kante is in the squad tomorrow, maybe gets 15 minutes and comes back. Well, let's see. But Kante, Graham Potter wasn't sure about. He said he's got a chance to be in the squad in the press conference. He has now confirmed on Chelsea TV that Kante will be in the group tomorrow. So Kante is back in the squad tomorrow. For me, yeah, I've been impressed with how Potter's managed the situation. I've just been impressed with Potter in general in terms of how he's managed the fitness of players and the injuries. No one's been rushed back. And that's a big difference to what we've had previously in terms of players getting rushed back and then injuries getting picked up again. You know, this is a much better way of doing things, maybe being a little bit overcautious, but making sure everything's just right before getting players back in. But yeah, if Kante can get 10 or 15 minutes, dependent on the situation within the game, then I think that's a massive plus. First minute since August. We probably don't want to give him too much more than that. I mean, Dharmesh, the front line, Raheem Sterling is obviously out. We saw against Leicester, Mudryk operate through the centre. Do you think that's something we may see again? Is that something you'd like to see again, or do you think it'll be back to kind of Kai Havertz through the middle?
Yeah, I probably want to see Mudryk play tomorrow as well. I thought he did okay against Leicester. I think with him, it's just building that chemistry and confidence around the frontline players as well. And I think, like I keep saying, I think dribbles into the box will be key for breaking down a low block, and we've seen the dribbling ability that Mudryk has. Not necessarily the sort of the pace will be utilized that much tomorrow if Everton will play low block, but I definitely think his trickery will maybe earn us a few free kicks here and there, maybe earn us a penalty as well. So yeah, I think Mudryk. I'd definitely start him to give him that sort of opportunity to.
Yeah, I mean, mate, I thought it was improved against Leicester. You know, obviously he was deployed down the middle. There were some things that were good, some things that weren't so good. How big do you think that assist could be for him? Because something as small as that could be the catalyst you just need to get going again, or to spark him into life a little bit more. That could be a big moment for him. But I think he's clearly got a lot of talent. I'm not concerned about him at all. But I do really want him to do well. But that could be. Do you think that could be quite a big moment for him? That assist?
Yeah, it's definitely the start of something potentially for Mudryk we'll see if that assist sort of impacts the way he's performing. But yeah, had that disallowed goal as well, which is unfortunate. But
It was a good finish that as well, to be
yeah,
fair.
I was just about to say, yeah, it's a really good finish as well. So that'll give him some confidence as well. But yeah, we can only really judge Mudryk if he gets minutes, to be honest. And yeah, I really do hope he starts tomorrow. At least get some reasonable amount of minutes.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see what happens with Mudryk. But obviously, got Felix over on the other side. I mean,
yeah,
we haven't seen Madueke for a few weeks. Obviously, again, Potter, we've seen it. He's left Cucurella out for a few weeks. He's left Mudryk out for a few weeks. I think it's the same with Madueke. Do we think there's any chance that he's involved tomorrow? I don't think he starts, but I mean, I would expect him to get some minutes from the bench.
I don't even think that, bro. I think Pulisic is ahead of him in terms of coming on as a sub. So and Gallagher. So I don't really see Madueke starting or playing any sort of part. He's still young as well. He's only 19, 20, isn't he? So
I think he turned 21 last week, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So he's not one to be sort of rushed with, to be honest. I think we'll bring him in when we need him and at the right time. There's plenty of games coming up. I think he'll definitely start a few games as well. But yeah, we haven't got much to go off from Madueke, to be honest. We've only seen a couple of games here and there. I know obviously we lost against Southampton, but I thought he was good against Southampton.
He was good, yeah.
Players against them.
So he was good against West Ham as well. He started in that game.
Yeah,
I thought it was half decent.
Yeah, started against West Ham as well. But yeah, same as Mudryk. Can't really judge him until we sort of see more of him. But
exactly.
But I don't think you can sort of drop João Felix the way he's playing at the moment.
No,
for us as well. But yeah, there's only so much we can sort of throw in terms of attackers. And like I said as well, with if it's 0-0 or we're 1-0 down and 50 to 60 minutes in, that's when you sort of take off Badiashile, Cucurella, Koulibaly, Fofana, whoever, go revert back to the 4 and then throw in an extra attacker and see what Madueke can do. So yeah.
And it's definitely much easier switching from a 3 to a 4 than it is to switch from a 4 to a 3 during a game, for sure. I mean, Pesnod saying Mudryk will score 2 tomorrow. I'd love for Mudryk to get his first goal tomorrow. I'd also love to see Enzo Fernandez get his first goal tomorrow. I mean, and obviously Kai Havertz will lead the line. I didn't think he could follow up his Dortmund performance, but he did very well against Leicester, really good. I mean, do you think he can do it for a third game in a row? Is this a new Havertz we're seeing, or is this just his kind of usual March/April good performances and then he reverts back to usual once March and April are done? I mean, the last 2 games, and it is only the last 2 games, but that's what we're going off. Like, he has been really good.
Yeah, he has been very good, but we have to remember how shit he's been for about 3 years. But
yeah,
you never know with Kai Havertz, man. You don't know which Kai Havertz is going to tell. We've seen the very worst of Kai Havertz and we've seen the very best of him. But let's just see which one turns up tomorrow. And yeah, he's in good form right now. I can't say anything bad on him for the past 2 games, to be honest.
No.
Let's see if that takes that tomorrow, and let's see how he deals with the physicality of Everton tomorrow, and see his creativity flourish again, hopefully.
Yeah, just need to see more of the same from him that we've seen against Dortmund than we've seen against Leicester. More of the same, but he definitely deserves.
Mate, if he proves everyone wrong, like I'll hold my hands up.
I'm more than happy to be proven wrong. I like to be proven wrong because it means
I think we all do, to be honest, bro.
Yeah, it means that players we thought were shit have proven us wrong, and that's good. But yeah, another big game for Havertz tomorrow. If he can put in a decent performance, get on the score sheet again potentially, then that'll be a big plus for him. So yeah, let's wait and see what happens. But yeah, Havertz will obviously definitely lead the line. I think we've got more than enough to beat Everton. Yeah, there is. I think someone died, unfortunately.
A Chelsea fan.
Chelsea fan. They must be 18, I presume, if it's in the 18th minute, I guess.
I think so. I read something on Twitter about it, I think yesterday.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember
that's why that is happening. That's a decent team. I mean, obviously we've picked it. That's what we'd like to see. If that is what we see, then I think it's got a very good chance of getting the job done. Only one more thing left to do, Dharmesh. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Yeah, sorry, mate. Only one more thing to do. Score predictions for tomorrow. Are we going to make it 4 wins in a row? What are you saying?
Yeah, I think we'll comfortably win 2-0. I think it'll be a 2-0 game for us.
Yeah.
I think we'll score early on, and I think we'll grab a goal in the second half at some point. I think it will be relatively comfortable for us. Famous last words.
Yeah, guys, get your score predictions in the chat. Yeah, look, I feel reasonably confident about this one. I don't think we're going to sort of walk it by any means. But I don't really fancy Everton scoring, if I'm being totally honest. I'm going to go for a 2-0 as well. I think it should be reasonably straightforward. It's just a case of how quickly can we get that first goal, because the longer it goes on, the deeper Everton sit, the harder it is to break them down. So we do definitely need to get an early goal, but I think regardless, we know exactly how they're going to come and set up, and the onus is going to be on us to go out there, break them down, get those goals or goals. Early goal is definitely required. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. I'm going to tip Mudryk to get his first goal. That is what I'm going for. Seems like a good point to round out, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, thanks for getting involved in the chat. Remember, you can donate via the super chat function. Any donation is greatly appreciated by the channel, so you can do that on your way out if you wish to do so. I would really appreciate it. Yeah, guys, thanks for getting involved in the chat as always. As I said, make sure you smash the likes on the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. As I said, try to hit 3,000 subscribers as quickly as possible. Every new subscriber helps, so please do spread the words. Get your friends to subscribe, get your parents to subscribe, whatever it is, guys. Do what you can to help the channel grow. Every new subscriber really helps. Make sure you follow Dharmesh on Twitter, link in the description and on his screen name. You can also follow me on Twitter as well. So please do that, guys. And I'll be back tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'm going to the game or not yet. I'll be back tomorrow either with a match vlog if I do go to the game. If I don't, I may well do a watch along. If not, there'll be some match reaction after the game. So stay tuned for all the post-match content. Yes, we hit the 40-point mark. If we win tomorrow, we guarantee our Premier League status for another season with a win tomorrow. Lots to be positive about, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a great weekend. Catch you tomorrow. Up the Chelsea.